Coach Stringfellow hired me to Lindale ISD in 1991 as his assistant basketball coach, and so that was my connection to Lindale and how I got here. And he was my mentor, my friend, and he was my hero. Coach Stringfellow taught me so much about relationships and how that you could combine discipline along with love, and kids are going to really respect that. He was a man's man. He was an old school coach. He was a great basketball player at Texas A&M. He had had several successful coaching stops prior to coming to Lindale. But I guess the bottom line, if you ask me why he was my hero, is his love of Jesus Christ, his love of his family, were the two most important things in his life, and those dominated his thought process every single day. And just as a young man, as a young coach, I picked up on that, and it just aided me greatly throughout my career. Well, after I left the coaching profession, I became an administrator here at Lindale High School, and I used the same measures that I learned from him in coaching as I did as a principal. Is that you don't have to scream and holler. If the kids know that you care about them, they're going to respond to what you're asking them to do. Coach Stringfellow, he was known as a hard coach, but the kids loved him because he was fair, and they knew that he loved them, and then in turn they respected him greatly. And I just tried to emulate that as a principal, and I found that it was very successful for me. But I think it's an awesome thing that this community is going to gather around and honor Coach Stringfellow's family, because they did mean so much for 10 years here in Lindale, and he did have such a huge impact. And Coach Stringfellow was the head basketball coach when, as we call it, our new high school now that is 21 years old. Coach Stringfellow was the head basketball coach at the high school there, and he coached our first game in that new high school gym. And I think it's another side note, he's got a couple of players that he coached. Their children are playing for Lindale High School now. So I think it's just a unique thing, a neat thing for this community to do. It just kind of shows the love that we still have for Coach Stringfellow.
I graduated in '99, and I played for Coach Stringfellow my sophomore and junior year. And then before he got sick and all that stuff. So we were there with him walking through that. NPH, we know it stands for Nobody Plays Harder. And I think for me, it was a really personal thing. It wasn't just about being that player on the floor, on the court. It was being that player in life. And I think Coach Stringfellow made a really good job, did an incredible job, which is testament tonight of how he was able to teach you that as a young man about, in every aspect of life, doing the best you could, play hard everywhere, give it your all. And I think all of his former players have walked away with that knowledge and understanding that they were a part of something big. Well, being coaching basketball here for the last 6 years, every time I walk in the gym when it's quiet, I look up there on the wall and I see Nobody Plays Harder. And for me, it was something I was able to transition and try to instill in my players, and in my own work. Just nobody coaches harder. I can turn that into so many things for me. I'm just remembering to do a good job and working as hard as I can. So I'm glad that banner is still up there, because I think that is a banner that he's left over the lives of everybody.
I think the letters in the gym that they wrote on the wall, I think that pretty much embodies what Coach Stringfellow was about. The Nobody Plays Harder, NPH. It's lasted this long, and I believe it'll continue to last, because that's truly what he was about. He used to give me a hard time because I would sling snot in practice, because I would do anything for that man. I would run through a wall, and that's kind of, to me, that's what he's meant to me, and so that's what I continue on, what I pass on to my son. If you want something, you got to work for it, and that's he really envisioned that and passed that on to everybody that played for him. You would really, truly give everything you had on the court for that guy. Before every game, that's what I don't talk to him much about certain aspects of the game performance-wise. I just tell him to play as hard as he can, and that's what before every game, play as hard as you can, and good things will happen.